we witness a once in a generation gathering. Matter of fact, our country has been existing for almost 200 years exactly yesterday. The last time Liberia reached 100 years was 1922 when President Arthur Barclay was the president of Liberia. But not all alive today was there yesterday. So yesterday, our celebration, I hear people wondering, why did we converge? I hear people wondering, why are we so enthusiastic? I hear people questioning our gathering. Perhaps these people were not taught the political literature and the historical antecedent of this country. So for us as men and women from the Indomitable Martyr Coalition for Democratic Change Youth League, we understand the historical literature. And so fortunately being alive at this time, we thought it is rooted and exceedingly necessary to celebrate this day in a glamorous fashion with no regret. And so yesterday Liberia turns 200 years. How important, how relevant is this day? What have we achieved? In fact, why are we wearing burial to go? Burial to go in somewhere. But why do we come at a party? Why do we celebrate as a nation? There are many reasons why, but I'm not a real messenger. I'm glad to be the Johnny Baptist. But I gave you a little historical antecedent just to arouse your consciousness tonight. Far before 1822, there was a Grain Coast. There was a country called Liberia, but it was then named as the Grain Coast. For those of you who read history, I did not read history in school, but when I was in America, I fortunately traveled to the Library of Congress, and I was interested in understanding the historicity of Liberia. When I entered the Library of Congress, I was interested in knowing the formation and the foundation of Liberia. And fortunately, I came after a book, an encyclopedia, a botanical encyclopedia in the Library of Congress. And then flipping the first two pages, I saw that far before the 19th century, far before 1822, there was a European trader and a settler named Pedro de Senora, precisely in 1461. He came to Liberia, and that was a guy who, by historical reality, named Cape Misurata, today called Misurata County. That was the same guy who named Cape Palmer in Grand Cape County, and that was the same very guy who named Cape Ma in Grand Cape and Cape Palmer in Maryland County. That same very guy was attracted to Liberia because then in Liberia there was this type of pepper called the Miligita pepper. That pepper was very profitable and very useful to the European. Then that pepper was very valuable as gold. That was how this entire coastline was named the Green Coast. And Liberia was here. People were attracted to Liberia. Indigenous were here. Indigenous from whom we have derived. We are derivative of these indigenous and native people. Right? And people are asking, oh, how relevant is that? They so far before even 1822. And coming forward to 1822, 1821, the significance of this day, when slavery was thought to be abolished around the world, when President Thomas Jefferson of America, and a man called Paul Cafe, he was an abolitionist. So those guys were thinking and wondering where to send people. This place, Green Coast, was selected because when men of Pedro de Sandra, they came here, they saw how unique this place was. They thought it was necessary, so the news went far and above. And so there's this group called the ACS. The ACS then in 1818 sent the first 2 American officials and 2 agents to come and do an assessment. And land there on the Providence Island, precisely they left in 1822. They met the traditional chiefs. They met the junkies, who were all descendants of people like South Boso, Kimboso, and you name them. There was interpretation there. They thought that it was suitable. They decided to go back and purchase this land, and that was how the agreement was reached. And when that land was purchased, fast forward, it went by, a guy called Judy Ashmore was sent to Liberia in 1828. Judy Ashmore came and he established a government. Then Liberia became a colony. A colonial government led by an agent appointed by the ACS. And when he came, he left. There came Governor Thomas Buchanan, after whom Buchanan Street is named. Matter of fact, Ashmore Street in Liberia today is named after Judy Ashmore. And when he left, it was how men like Lokere, men like Randolph, all these guys came, the guy after whom Randolph Street is named. So when they left, eventually Joseph Junior Rawa came, in beginning the first government, the last governor and the first president. He established a republic. And when he established this republic, there was the northwest boundary dispute. Liberia was being encroached on by the French on the east. On the north, the French were there, and then on the far west, the British were there. Liberia was confronted with a series of issues. And so Joseph General went to American Colonization Society, reported the issue, and later on they were advised to declare Liberia independent. It became an independent country. Today people are asking us, what do we have to celebrate? And let me conclude what we have to celebrate. If we don't have anything to celebrate, let me say this. Liberia have gone through history. Matter of fact, history taught us that Liberia is one of the 4 countries from Africa. The only country from West Africa, South Africa, Egypt, and Ethiopia were the 2 African countries that signed the declaration to form the United Nations today, right after World War II, because they did not want to reoccur after the League of Nations has been dissolved. Now people are asking, what do we have to celebrate? What do we have to celebrate? Liberia existed since 1822. We went through all of the war. We went through World War I, World War II. We went through the Cold War. Other countries have been extinguished. Other countries have been invaded. Other countries have been wiped away. Other countries have lost their independence and territorial integrity. Today, Liberia still stands. Asking me, what do we have to celebrate? As Ivory Coast, as Kwame Nkrumah, as Nelson Mandela, Liberia was a beacon of inspiration for them when there was nowhere to train. When other countries around the world were being partitioned, Liberia was standing as a lone star on Africa, creating nationalistic consciousness on the continent of Africa. We have more to celebrate. We have more to celebrate when today, after 100 years, you can go at a university of Liberia free of charge. We have more to celebrate. We have more to celebrate today after 100 years. When people go to school, they do not pay YS fee. We have more to celebrate. We have more to celebrate when today, our country, Liberia, we defeated Ebola. That is what we have to celebrate. Our country, even though we have political difference, but this country produced the first female president. We have more to celebrate. We have more to celebrate when your country is the only country throughout the 4 cardinal points of Africa produce the only world best, European best, African best, and all of the best in one single year. You have more to celebrate. You have more to celebrate when today press freedom is everywhere. No political prisoner. You have more to celebrate. So as a country, as a party, right, we believe that we are the derivative of these indigenous people. And I wrote on Facebook, if we believe that CDC is an ordinary party, and CDC existed, I mean, and the country existed since 1822. Since 1822, up to man, the people have always been around. The fact that the people have always been around, it suggests that CDC has been around for almost 200 years. Because we are derivative of the people. The people are ordinary people. Our party is an ordinary party. So we got more to celebrate. So as a party, that's our stake. That's our stake. We all know an explanation to the way we appeared yesterday. Now, one journalist asked me, why did you appear in your paraphernalia? Why did you wear uniform? I asked the journalist, I said, why did you wear your press uniform? He said, because I want to be identified. I said, well, is it your crime to be identified? Did you ask the imam, why did he wear imam clothes to be identified? Did you ask so we have many reasons to appear yesterday. So today's gathering, like I said, I'm just joining the Bible to open the way. I was just trying to connect the historicity of yesterday to today's and the relevant. So at this juncture, fellow Liberians, friend and friend, compatriot of the Indomitable Martyr Coalition for Democratic Change, I'd like to conclude at this juncture and now usher in Common Meriton Fidel Castro, who's going to proceed with the next guest. Thank you very much.
This is the beauty of the CDC. Contrary to mis and disinformation, the few elements of backwardness and reaction propagate. And for this party, let us appreciate Comrade for using minimal time to provide maximum information. Come and salute Comrade. And so, comrades and friends, when you stop, it is important to take note. Yesterday's event was a genuine call, and whenever hatred calls upon a particular people, the people do not go halfway with the struggle. The Coalition for Democratic Change are not going to bear. After the revolution, we continue to align forces and make conscious efforts to bring the revolution on a trajectory that is irreversible. So when we appear and we saw the United States of America and counterparts from the sub-region and the continent of Africa raising the occasion. But again, there were some macro-nationalists who were distributing opinionated falsehood and mischievous information. When we say the land of the return, one element myopically argued that we meant to have said celebrating only the settlers who came from America back to Africa. What about the natives? And the only way to challenge a myth is to have it demystified. That is the strength and revolutionary calories that the Indomitable Mali Coalition for Democratic National Unity has. So, and tonight we air brush and rubbish all of these misguided thoughts. That's the responsibility. And my comment the way Dre you too. So yesterday gathering was an exclusive one. Very exclusive. Open to all. Not some. Oppositions, civil society groupings, religious and traditional leaders, including musicians, were given opportunity, ordinary Liberian citizens to assemble. And that was done in an orderly manner, and you saw the process ended very, very good, very well. The guys are asking us why we should wear beret. They also asking us why we should dress in party paraphernalia. But that will be dealt with by the next speaker. Well, it's said that we bought land on the return, meaning we're celebrating the settlers. No. I said to one of the comrades on one of the local radio stations that your brothers and sisters, according to history, the transatlantic slave trade, the top blacks, they were your mothers, your grandparents, your sisters, your aunties. Those days, they forcefully took them and they took them to carry them to Europe. These people were incarcerated, imprisoned, and they're in perpetual economic bondage and captivity for many, many years. In order to fight for their own freedom, the Malcolm X said, no one gives you equality, liberty, freedom, and justice. If you're a woman or man enough, you should go for it. And so they led 3 different rebellions in the United States of America before coming back. It is important to understand the historical itinerary and the historical antecedent about why we go in the war and we have no regret. And so your families were forcefully dragged to the United States on plantations, working for patron summer wages. They were called house and field negroes. They were beaten by the masters. Our grandparents, who they took from here and shipped them to the United States of America. And so, in order to fight for their own freedom to come back to Africa, they led the Demon Vessel Rebellion, they led the Cattle Rebellion, and they also led the Night Teller Rebellion. Amongst other things, other historians will say the number of blacks in the United States were increasing proportionally, incrementally, and astronomically in numbers. And as such, we needed to form a repatriation process. But there were two schools of thoughts in the United States of America. In 1914, a Jamaican-born political economist and thinker, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, organized the UNIA, the Universal Negro Association. Marcus Garvey argued that the possibility and desirability for a minority black community to be integrated into a hostile work environment was very slim. Therefore, let's come back to Africa. That was his argument. That was a proposal in the black liberation struggle in the United States of America. Another black argued, who became the first Afro-American to have earned PhD at Harvard University, Eugene Du Bois, who organized the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People in 1909, argued that there's a need for us to integrate into the society. There's a need for us to remain here and integrate with our white brothers and sisters. But before then, there were other white supremacist institutions like the Ku Klux Klan that went on a stream to beat blacks, to kill blacks, to annihilate blacks, and humiliate blacks. And so they had to struggle and they came back. Like the brother said, they might get that pepper coast, founded this republic. Now it is important. It is very, very important. We are saying that these people were in prison, they were in jail, they were beaten. So the time they returned, people that we have not seen for many, many years, when they returned, it was something to celebrate. Almost like the poem, during the war, the rebel captured your parents. 5 years later, and you tell me when your parents coming back to the house, when God blesses you and you see them, you should not celebrate them. Then they have been wicked. So the intent was not to celebrate them alone, but when they came back, that led to the formation of the sovereignty of the Republic of Liberia that the police said, 1822, and from 1822 to 2022 marks 200 years of existence as a country. Now, what did Liberia do? Somebody say, oh, because we don't have skyscrapers, because we don't have everything, so they don't need to celebrate. That person understanding about history is narrow, and it's opaque. Liberia helped in the formation of the establishment of the APC, the All People Congress, headed by Shaka Stephen of Sierra Leone, when Sierra Leone gained independence in 1961. Under the leadership of Liberia as the first independent country in Africa, gave the formation of the CPP, the Convention People Party led by Kwame Nkrumah. Under the leadership of Liberia, having the formation of the PDG of Ahmed Sékou Touré of Guinea, the Parti Démocratique de Guinée. We didn't only stop there. We were concerned about the decolonization of Africa. We were concerned about the colonization of colonialism and neo-colonialism on the continent of Africa. So by July 15 of 1959, under the Ottoman era, Liberia organized the first conference called the Sanikwele Conference in Nima County. That conference led the formation of what we call the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, in 1963. We were not only concerned about ourselves, because Tottenham said that it is meaningless if the independence of Liberia is not tied to the total independence of Africa. And so we supported the Organization of African Unity. We supported Emma Bembela of Algeria and the independence of Algeria. We went and supported ECOWAS in 1975, the formation of the Economic Community of West African States. We also supported the formation of the OAU in July 9, 2002, the formation of the African Union. But we are now not concerned. Liberia was concerned about oppression on the continent of Africa and the independence. Liberia was concerned about the politics in Mozambique, where the people of Mozambique assembled against colonial dominant rule. We supported Eduardo Bolen and Samora Moses Michel on the banner of the Frelimo Party in Mozambique. We also joined forces in Angola and supported Agostinho Neto, Jonas Abibi, and Hoda Roberto against the Portuguese. Liberia as a country also joined forces in Egypt, sent men and revolutionary solidarity forces, moral support, and joined forces with Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt. We were concerned about the decolonization of Africa and the independence of the African nations. We supported the formation of the struggle history of the African National Congress. In 1912, we supported Steve Biko, we supported Walter Sisulu, we supported Reginald Oliver Tambo, we supported Nelson Mandela, we supported Murphy Kakalia, James Moroka, George Lobo, and the rest of the forces, Chris Hani. We supported Robert Sobukwe and the PAC, the Pan-African Congress in South Africa. We supported Steve Biko in 1968 and the Black Conscious Movement that fought against one party dominant, one party state in South Africa called the Apartheid Movement. We did not stop there. We were concerned about the total liberation of the African continent. We went to Namibia, one of the youngest African countries. We then supported the formation of the Southwest African People Organization, SWAPO, led by Adima Toivo and Sendo Joma. So to come here and say Liberia should not be celebrating 200 years of existence, go back to real history. And people making the argument, we're not surprised. These are incompetent, wearing agents from the modern reincarnated 2B party from the CPP. They stand naked before history. They understand nothing only violence and anarchy. So not better. But yet, at the indomitable National Youth League of the Mali Coalition for Democratic Change. So, before you enter into leadership, you must understand the role of this party to understand the governance of the state, the African continent. So we supported Africa. We supported Africa. We supported Guinea-Bissau. And the formation of the PAIGC, the Party Independent for Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde, led by Amilcar Cabral, the man whom the Cabral estate was named after. In Zimbabwe, we supported the MDC, the Movement for Democratic Change, headed by Arthur Tamubara. We supported ZANU, headed by Jaza Ukombo. We went Kenya, we supported Jomo Kenyatta and the formation of the Kenyan African National Union. We supported the Julius Kaburedi Nyerere and the formation of the Chama Cha Mampudisi Party in Tanzania. So now here, as just people who masquerade in beret, you know the history of this beret is the badge of honor and symbol of resistance. You know nothing about this beret. How dare you question the young people? How dare you question the revolutionary understanding of the indomitable Mali Coalition for Democratic Change? So, but we'll have a time to invite these elements in the Jiu-Jitsu. Very soon, we'll invite them in the Jiu-Jitsu. We'll reserve our cavalry and allow the man who has the final message. We'll reserve our cavalry and allow the man who has the final message. After the message, it will become an official position of this party. And men and women from the revolutionary backdrop of the Mali Coalition for Democratic Change will now go and interpret to the code. but we'll reserve our calories. We retreat. Very soon come out. Honor no comrades and friends. We are not the man of the movement. We are not the official speaker. We told you, you have the team. Augustine Denito is prepared to deliver the role of the party, why the party acted the way the party acted, and why the party owes no soul an apology. Absolutely no soul. Comrades and friends, put your hands together.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you to the official spokesperson of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Indomitable Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change. Sound. Distinguished member of the 4th Estate, former revolutionary ideologues, militants of the 17th electoral district of Mosul County. Sound. Comrades, Fueta Steny Soldier of the Revolutionary National Youth League of the Indomitable Mighty Coalition for Democratic Change. Sound. It is an honor today to be here and to recognize the importance of this gathering. Why are we here? And then the two speakers has excellently deliberated. They have mentioned numerous points that signify and clarify why are we here. But even more to that, let us use this opportunity to appreciate the presence of international dignitaries, those who came on the soil and confirmed the safety and peacefulness of our land. We saw in our lifetime yesterday the presence of President Joe Biden delegation headed by Madam Banks. We saw the presence of foreign leaders, presidents, from Niger to Togo to Sierra Leone to Gambia to Nigeria. That is an affirmation of our land being peaceful and safe. Unlike especially coming from those guys who are master of alteration and unfaithfulness, those pitiful kind of follow who the only thing preferably that they know is to author document and to preach mis and disinformation. Those people who exist in opposition with sufficient distrust and dishonor. Those people who exist in opposition who should not be given a breathing inch to statecraft and state leadership. Because all we will witness under their range is massive alteration of documents. And more to that, yesterday signified, and we are so honored to mention that yesterday signified the convergence, something most importantly, not very familiar with certain faces. Few people thought in their minds and in their heart that the sons and daughters of this land will not have the opportunity or access to such an occasion. Those bitter elements, those people with hate and bigotry were confused and were asking several questions. Why do we have to see the sons and daughters of the ordinary people in that gallery?